can't stay.
You're too hilarious.
Okay, all right. Welcome to the Fematlanta podcast with your hosts Angie Saprina and
Sandy Saprina.
Oh no, they both have the same last name. Are we sisters?
Sandy, that's dumb.
You're right. All right, moving on. We're gonna move past it. It's an audio clip. They don't see the embarrassment on my face. Anyways, welcome to the Fematlanta podcast, where we talk about things that we care about, things that we love, things that we're concerned about in this world. Any thoughts, Cindy, about what this podcast is?
No, I'm going to be the one that speaks the most
logically.
and I will speak the least. I don't know.
You're going to speak your truth. Anyways, we were a long time ago, we made this joke on how Haitians don't use dishwashers, and it's so true.
Is it?
It's absolutely true. we were thinking about how childhood sort of shapes our lives, and weird things that we did that all of our white friends in college did not do.
Nobody else understood.
It's kind of like how that one time I heard that a lot of African Americans use Frisco, that weird butter stuff. And I was like, what the heck is Frisco? Is it the singer that goes up Frisco? Like a frisky Cisco?
No, isn't it the oil?
It's like it's like a weird white butter that they put in everything.
I thought it was the bottle of oil. I thought that was the brand.
Yeah, it's why heart attacks are the leading cause in America. Yes, it's in a huge can from Sam's Club, and it's filled with white buttery.
Oh, you know more than me because I didn't know
white
that.
Buttery death.
You're talking about
it's called Fresco. It's not Frisco. It's like Fresco, and they put it in everything, and they use it to cook their chicken.
I'm pretty sure it's Frisco. I'm pretty sure it's Frisco.
I think I heard it in The Help too. Octavia Spencer's character was like, "I put Fresco in everything."
You tell me black people have been using this for
since
several
the 60s.
hundred years.
Since the 60s, Martin Luther King ate a lot of Frisco.
I doubt it.
I don't think it's Frisco. I think it's Fresco. Anyways, but we were thinking of different examples of how our childhood really shaped the way. I think it's more of a cultural thing too, but I mean every household is different.
Just the way we think about certain things.
Yeah, but I would focus on the things that we do, but then I feel like if I looked any deeper, it would be into how we actually thought about things. For example, I remember in college with my roommate Lydia, I would reuse oil. So there would always just be a...
It's so funny that you say that, though.
A pot of oil. Did you do that too?
Yes, I did that when I was in college too. And that, it wasn't that bad because I was in an apartment full of other foreigners, other Africans, other Haitians, Did
they do things slightly different, or they understood?
No, they didn't make it weird. You know what I mean? They didn't make it weird until I started hearing people saying that people just don't do that. You're not even supposed to do that. I think it's
you're
like
not
a
supposed
health
to use
hazard.
oil until it goes from yellow to black, and then once it's black as Wesley Snipes, then you throw it out. That's not how it works.
Once it gets to Wesley Snipes complexion,
from vegetable oil color to Wesley Snipes, how good is this oil? And they're like, "Oh, okay, past Wesley Snipes."
No, I never got ridiculed for it because nobody said anything about it. I wasn't around people that thought that was weird, but when I did hear people start saying that,
yeah. Well, Lydia didn't make me feel weird about it. I think they were just like,
"Why do you do that?
What is this?" And so I was like, "Man, that's so true." But it's what
can't really give them an answer as to why.
Exactly.
All you know is that this is how my mom did.
What am I supposed to do? Dump this oil out?
It's like,
and so
are we made out of money?
Yeah. And so I was just thinking about how I guess we tend to maybe conserve certain things
that you probably
shouldn't you didn't need to reuse,
but that you really don't need to. Do you really have to recycle oil?
Yeah, you don't really, because oil it's not the most expensive thing on the planet.
It isn't, and I don't understand why
especially
we
if
ever
you get vegetable oil.
To be honest,
Yeah.
I really don't. So I mean that, and what else?
This might be a smaller thing, but also freaking sharpening pencils with a scissor.
Oh Lord, that's so foreign.
And I feel like it's an indication that our parents lived a completely different life. Like they didn't have pencil sharpeners. They're just like take a knife or a scissor and just raise down the pencil so that you can write your homework. Like these were when they were kids, and we do it even though we're surrounded by 2000s technology. I could have sworn you used to do that.
I did it one time, but that's because I didn't have a pencil sharpener.
I also did that. But I didn't have a pencil sharpener.
Yeah, so I figured, hey, listen, I've seen my parents do it, so I can do it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I feel like in our day and age, like if we don't have a pencil sharpener, we'll do that. But most people would be like, well, I guess I'm going to CVS to get a whole new pack of pencils instead of taking the scissor.
That would probably be the wise thing to do while you're here in America.
Yeah.
But being a kid that's raised in a foreign household, you just find ways to get around spending more money.
Exactly. So it's
unless you come from a wealthy family who has already had those luxuries to begin with. But if you're a foreigner here, you don't come with a lot of money. Mm-hmm. You're doing things shortcuts to bypass having to go to the grocery store and spend more money that you don't have.
Yeah, and I feel like having or being first generation where your parents, or just being raised by people who lived in a poor country or in poor conditions even here in America, I feel like it rewires your brain to do things that normally people would take the next step of spending money on, or just doing stuff that they didn't have to do, like buying new pencils instead of just shaving down the ones that you already had. Yeah. I feel like, or like getting new oil instead of just reusing oil. And like these are simple things, but I feel like it impacted our greater, like it impacted like everything we do in life to always go small. Not necessarily that we deserve it, but like we don't need the things that maybe people who had a wealthier upbringing had
an American upbringing, I would say.
Because even America, the culture is get a new one, upgrade.
It's just the American culture in general is all about spending money, buying things that you don't need. Exactly. And being raised the way we were raised, we just don't do any of that frivolous stuff. I mean, I wouldn't say we don't do it at all, but we're just
not
more
our
inclined.
First instinct.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like before I don't know if anybody has done this before. I'm sure somebody can't say that they haven't. Where you run out of toilet paper and you don't have any more. I know where you're going with this. Or you're getting real close to no toilet paper, right? And you might not have that much money in your pocket, but for whatever reason, you have no problem using the paper towel.
It's the same thing. In fact, it's double the ply.
The fact that you even have paper towels is a luxury that you would never get in another country. But if you do have a paper towel, you say, "Hey, that's paper."
Yeah, or get some nice, rougher. Get some nice, get that nice box of tissues that was for all your guests and put it in the bathroom. That I don't do. I don't care. Yeah, desperate times though. Desperate times.
I'd rather it be rough and I just moisten that stuff.
Oh no. Editing it out. Just kidding.
I'm just saying.
We're real rap
like that.
Real rap raw.
Like I don't know. Just
like using our resources to the best of our ability, so that not only we can save money, but just like you have to. It's not even just out of we're here to save money at times. It's just out of a necessity of we don't have as much money, or we grew up not having that much money. Because even then, I think when you grow up in that way, you become more financially responsible in a way. Or sometimes it could also turn you the opposite way.
Yeah, you might go wild.
Yeah, just like I was poor when I was little, so now I'm buying $200 Nikes today, even though I got a $500 bill. I've never
done it before in my life,
and I feel like some people have that problem, but I feel like if you find the value in it instead of resenting,
I don't even think, to be honest, I don't even think it has to even do with being raised necessarily poor, because I think we I
wouldn't call us poor, but
yeah,
just
I think we were
fiscally,
we were good. Like we weren't
but I feel like the
we weren't
reason why we
wanting
were
for
good
more
is
than what
because
we
we
needed,
were,
you know, we had the bare minimum that we needed. We were able to eat, we were able to go to school, we had
fun,
on our backs and
went on
everything. I just
trips.
think it's just having our parents experience a life that's less than what we're experiencing,
Right.
And that be rubbed off on us, just allows us to appreciate the work that they've done with their lives while we're
Right.
here in America.
Right.
Like, it helps us be more grateful for the things that we have, and we hold on to things a little bit better. We take care of things a little bit better, whether it be electronics, our house,
Right.
our cars, our just our clothes, like everything that we have in general. We're so grateful to have it.
Yeah, we're not people of
That-
excess.
Right. We tend to not be people of excess, and I think
I mean, there's a
that's-
lot of things we don't need,
Yeah.
but I mean, I feel like, I guess you also have to scale it to the kind of country you live in too sometimes, because it's like if you lived in a country where not everybody had like a couch and a table and a TV like everybody in America has, maybe we wouldn't have those things, but
Right.
but I feel like the way that we are is, I feel like a mixed of American culture and Haitian culture, and I feel like even more so American culture, because mom and dad had to really adjust to American culture, and I feel like they got some pretty good opportunities, I feel like, and they're able to do more here. That's why they moved here.
Yeah.
And so growing up,
We're able to experience some more luxuries
exactly, yeah,
than they could,
Yeah.
in the past. But at the same time, though, we weren't the ones to, you know, they weren't the ones spending a bunch of money on Christmas gifts. You
Thanks
know,
for the socks, Mom.
They weren't the ones to spend, you know, an exorbitant amount on like huge birthday gifts,
Right.
things that you would expect people to do here in America. Instead, we valued experience more. Like, we, you know, going on that vacation, spending time with each other. I think that helped us become even closer as a family.
And I feel like we're even more like that, just like separate from mom and dad, just like as us three sisters. There's a sister here not present. Shirley, we love you. I feel like we want to spend time more than we want to just like send something. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, we would rather just spend time with each other than being like, oh, well, we'll just send this over. Like, I don't feel as good about those as sending gifts as I am about actually being there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
feel like things are things. I feel like if you're going to bring certain gifts or like material things, those things should be shared, I think, among with the people that you love. And I
Right.
feel like that's always been a thing. Like, I don't think there's never a TV room that we couldn't enter, or
Right.
video games that we couldn't touch, or you know, books that were just for one person. Like, everything in the house was for everybody in the house. And I feel like that wires your brain in a way where it's like gifts are meant to be shared, and they're used to have experiences with other people within your family or outer
But
relationships.
do you think that's just our family, or is it just something?
I think a lot of
that's-
families do that, probably, but I feel like some
is
people
that does that go back to
being
like
Haitian.
just,
you
yeah,
think?
like just how they were raised.
I'm not too sure. I feel like when mom and dad have a cool thing, or if we get a cool thing or a cool gift, no one's like, this is mine,
right?
or I love this more
we're not
than
attached to it.
Right. It's more like we collectively
together.
are loving this thing together, even if it's like my cool toy spider that I had that I still think about every day and every night. That was such a cool toy spider. I don't remember the toy spider or me playing with it. I remember everybody being around in the hallway, and I'm trying to figure out the
how to play
controls,
it.
and I'm pushing it, or I'm not pushing it, but I'm like controlling it down the hallway, and, and I think I put a note on top of it, and I just remember mom and dad laughing and Shirley laughing. I was really young, but that's like my main memory of that toy, and that was like my favorite toy growing up. But I don't have any memories of like me playing with toys by myself. I mean, not really. If anything, it's a sad memory. It's a sad memory.
Well, for me, I think what I had struggled most with was the fact that we couldn't wear the clothes that everybody else could wear. Like every time we would go start the new year for school, right? I wasn't wearing like the best clothes. I didn't have the new Nikes.
But you were rocking it.
Man, I had the Jordache jeans. I know everybody knows the Jordache jeans.
I don't know.
Well, you're too young. But yeah, like, you know, everybody else, you know, I didn't have the new Reeboks, you know, or the Filas, you know, that everybody used to
Yeah, those are some pretty big brands. Wear.
But instead of like feeling a type of way about it, I kind of accepted it and understood that like
you have shoes,
my parents
I have
don't
shoes.
know nothing about any American brands. Right. Like me sitting here telling them, you know, this is what I gotta get, blah blah blah. You know, that's not gonna register with them because in their head is, listen, you're gonna go to Walmart, you get your Walmart brand clothes, and you're gonna go to school because that's what you came here for. You came for school. That's all that you're doing.
You didn't
right
come
now.
to freaking flaunt your freaking new Nikes.
And I'm like, man.
And some kids were like that, though.
I always had to think to myself, I was like, yo, like, why do you guys have to be so Haitian? Like, why don't you get it? Like,
I remember one time.
In America, we wear Reeboks.
Exactly.
Okay? We wear the stylish outfits, you know.
Right.
And, you know, we don't just wear Walmart clothes. That's not what we do around here.
I mean, but not everybody. I don't know, but I think I remember one time Dad got me these Vans, and they were terrible. They were like brown and like chunky, and I'm like, I already have huge feet, so those Vans made me look like I was wearing brown clown shoes, but I also like skated. So it's like, it was a brand that I did not want to be. Like I did, it's like, does she skate on the biggest skateboard imaginable? Like it looked like my Vans would turn into skates. That's how big they were. Scary. But it's like, I feel like that's the only memory of having like name brand sneakers, and they were the worst. So I'm like, so now I'm just gonna go to Goodwill.
So you can see how like and cop them some being cheap Haitian, sneakers. Okay. Didn't help us at all in the fashion in the fashion aspect.
I mean, I feel like the amount of Hawaiian t-shirts that Dad wore is why I want so many Hawaiian t-shirts. I just want that Dad Hawaiian t-shirt because I love those designs. But I feel like it's funny that you say about fashion though, because I feel like Mom and Dad had like the best fashion when they were younger. And I feel like once
but not when they're older. You come here to America.
No, I like their fashion. It's a different type of look. I feel like, and it could have been just a different time too. So I feel like they were always, Mom and Dad, or Mom loved dresses. And I feel like Dad just loved suits, and he loves shoes. He loves like those shiny shoes that all the suave gentlemen wear, where it's like so shiny. It's like
glaringly in your face.
I feel like Dad always wanted to be like that type of guy who like had glossed hair, and then they had like that thick mustache, and they were wearing a suit, and then as you were looking down, you were just your eyes were closing from how shining their shoes were. Like Dad wanted his shoes to be so shiny that it was like looking at the sun.
That's how they did it. That's how they rocked it, man.
I guess so, but I mean, I'm looking at those old photos of them. They were rocking it. Really? And Mom had some nice like dresses that like you can only see in like those 60s Civil War rants in America, or riots, not rants. But it's like, I like their fashion, but I feel like dressing us, it was hard to find it was hard for us to find what kind of clothes we liked. You know what I mean? And that's not always a priority, of course, especially when, you know, you're not these wealthy people who can just be like, I want that, and that, and that's my look. But it's like
Listen,
stuff like that. And now we don't
look.
value it as much anymore because we didn't. I feel like if your parents don't put that much emphasis on certain things, then you start not to put too much value in it either. Because we're not in love with fashion. We're not in love with clothes. We obviously like to wear nice clothes or be put together in a way that we like. But
I wouldn't say I'm not into fashion or anything like that. But speak for yourself. Listen,
a fashionista to me is, we're going out, let me put this and this, make sure this matches with this, let me make sure I put on these shoes. It's like fashionistas have like one pair of jeans and one t-shirt to go to sleep, and then they're still wearing their stilettos in bed, just being like, just in case somebody catches me with their phone, they want to take a pic. You like to look nice when it's time to look nice. That's not a fashionista.
Got it.
Fashionistas are like, they're always thinking about.
But what I was going to say was, like, I think my fashion, I had my own fashion sense. I wanted to be like Aaliyah.
What was your fashion sense?
I wanted to be like Aaliyah.
I can't wait to hear it.
Crop top with the
crop top.
Listen,
there were no crop tops in the early 2000s.
With the jeans. With the baggy jeans.
Bell bottoms, you mean?
No. The
I remember the early 2000s.
I mean, I wore them, but still.
There were no crop tops in the early 2000s.
No, but I had my own fashion sense. It's just that I feel like, again, the fact that they were Haitian, they didn't know that, there were certain stuff we can't wear.
You weren't going to wear no crop top.
We can't wear the old, Haitian dress that you wear to church, to school. Like, we can't do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're going to get clowned.
You're going to get stares.
Up and down.
You're going to get clowned up and down the hallway.
Up and down the hallway, okay? But what that made me be when I got older was, like you said, I didn't worry about people's opinions about what I wore as I grew older. Like, if I liked it, I liked it.
Because you had to.
I liked it because I had to. I had to find a way to not cry at night.
If you did it, you just
all the day at school. I had to figure out, like, listen, these high socks, these high-waisted socks.
They didn't like my socks. They were too high.
These high-waisted socks that mom got me going to school with, okay?
Oh, the despair.
They're bomb, okay? Whatever the other chicks say at school, they don't know what they're talking about. These
are they
awesome.
bomb?
So
I had to
deal with a lot of dissension.
I like your way of thinking, because I feel like even if you might think that people don't like the way, like if they don't like your socks, like, you'll be like, never mind, these socks are bomb.
Like,
or I would just go double. I would just
your
go.
Opinion is
oh
negative.
My gosh,
to me.
I think they think that my socks are bad. Oh my god, they're hideous.
No, I think the way to go
is to go the opposite way.
This is strictly off of the amount of ridicule that I got from school of my clothes and trying to hide it. I did it for so many years that I just learned, hey, you know what? Whatever you wear is whatever you wear. I got a bomb personality, okay? And you know what? I like this outfit. It's checkers. Guess what? I like checkers. Screw your opinion.
Checkers. You're wearing checkered shirts or checkered socks? Paint me a picture.
I don't care if I'm wearing. I can't paint you a picture.
You're looking like a referee.
Hideous. But regardless,
like a World Cup referee, being like, "Hey guys, anybody finished the homework last night?" They're like, "Nigga, you look like a freaking chessboard. Get out of our friend group."
Yo, I don't even care. Okay. I don't even care. Like, I have a strong sense of
looking like a chessboard.
I have a strong sense of self right now because of that. I'm stronger in my sense of, how I want to dress, how I want to look, how I want to present
you have a great
myself,
sense of fashion.
To the world. And you know what? If you don't like what I wear, I could care less. I like it. If you don't like the way I wear my hair, I could care less. I like it. So, I mean, with the amount of ridicule that I got when I was young, I had to come to this point. Because otherwise life would be
because you can go
horrible.
one of two ways, and you went the right way, because some people are just like, they just get so sensitive, and they get they get so broken down, and
you know
it's really
what?
sad.
I think a lot of foreign kids, literally have to deal with that all the time. The fact that they're conflicted with the way their parents, whether or not they came, straight from another country, or they are
just
second generation.
By,
Like, they have to deal with the fact that, your parents are just not going to see American culture the same way you see American culture, or that you're living American culture. And they have to try to adapt. Either try to adapt,
and in some ways they do, but they can only go so far.
Right. So if you can only go so far, you got to find ways to cope, and that was one of my ways of coping. Just learning to accept the fact that, listen, I'm not gonna be the coolest person in school or in society. Right. But you know what? I like me regardless. But I have a unique perspective on how things are in the world. So I just need to accept that. And thanks, Mom and Dad, for that.
I just think it's funny because I feel like we're not really the type of people to blame our parents for things.
Nah, man.
At least unless it's like, why won't you let me go to the rapids? Because I was that kid. I was like, why can't I go to Disney World with my friends? But it's like, it's been a long time, I think, since we were like complaining about things. Because of course they don't tell us what to do. We have our own lives now and we're pretty independent. But you're still paying my phone bill. Thanks, Mom and Dad. I appreciate it.
Yeah, says the youngest one.
I am 24, though. I should pay my own phone bill. But other than that, I mean, we try to be more, or at least I'm trying to be more independent. And we're sort of going into that phase, all three of us. I mean, you guys have probably been in that for a while, of them not governing what you're doing.
For a good minute.
All right, for a good minute. I said y'all have been for a while. I wasn't trying to age y'all. You hags, you old witches of olden days, of the 80s. Oh, the 80s.
Oh my God.
But I forgot what I was gonna say because I was clowning you about your old decrepit ages. But it's just like, I feel like when I look back at all of the things that they were trying to mold us, they were trying to shape us and push us into the people that we are today.
To be honest,
I mean, without sounding too negative, there are things that I feel like not necessarily a bad thing, but like things that I don't think I would think. I don't think I would think this way if it wasn't for the way that they taught us to be and the things that they warned us against. And I feel like things like not trusting other people, I feel like, is a big thing that I think maybe Haitians moving to America, or maybe just Haitians living in Haiti in general, or maybe just any like foreigner, it's just not trusting the new place that you're in, or the new
being
culture.
More cautious, because I wouldn't say everybody is just not trusting. It's just like they're cautious.
But I feel like especially even in Haiti, Mom and Dad don't trust people.
Like especially when you're a foreigner, you have to be careful when you're here in America, because
you can be taken advantage of.
Things people already don't like you. From the get-go, because you weren't born here. And if you were born here,
and even if you're an immigrant, if you're an immigrant of color, like if you came from Sweden, people would treat you different.
But I'm talking about, our brown people, that
we all keep in a little box.
Yeah, like they just have to live that duality and take the information that they get from their parents. If you're second generation or on. Like that's
you
one
can't
of the
really
things.
trust
like,
people.
You got to be careful. So that's something that I definitely.
And I just think it works on so many levels.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Because at first you don't know the language, then it's like a culture. Then you're already black. Then you already you're basically starting from ground zero because you have no quote unquote American education, even though you were educated in the country before. You basically have to start over. And then already people are dangerous no matter what they think of you. Right. And I feel like on those.
But that's prepared me to be more wise in how I move.
But you don't feel like you're overly cautious. I feel sometimes
I am overly cautious, but I'm sorry, it's worked for me thus far.
I mean, it's kept us alive, but I feel like sometimes even if you're overly cautious, it could be damaging to
relationships,
to starting them. Not even just the relationships you already have, but starting them, going out to certain places. Like
for me, I'm gonna be honest. For me, that has not been a negative thing for me. I still can develop relationships. I still can speak to different people. I just know in the back of my mind that these same people might do something to you. So,
right.
I feel like being cautious has been better for me than anything.
I think at a healthy dose, but I feel like just in general across the board, just like foreigners teaching their kids, I feel like it can make a kid overly paranoid about certain things, that certain things are against them. And I feel like, of course, there's truth in it. And of course, there are things that are obviously out to get you. There are dangers in the world. But I feel like from their perspective, it was so real. Like, it was so dangerous for them. And I feel like, even though it's not as dangerous for us, in my opinion, because
it's kind of like projecting,
but we could still get to that level of paranoia and fear and cautiousness, and at least for me, maybe not for you, but I feel like sometimes I tend to overly be afraid of things because I feel like they might, if it's a group of people, I might think that they think a certain way about me. If it's a new place, I might think that it could become violent, or a certain situation might become violent, even though everybody's acting normally. But I feel like I'm just coming from my perspective. I think a lot of parents, they tell their kids how to adjust into this country or into the country that they know already. Right. But I feel like for parents that don't necessarily know the country, then they don't know what to look out for. So everything just could be anything. Right. So I feel like that could lead to paranoia sometimes. And I mean, not as a negative thing. I just think that it's interesting how you don't really realize, because sometimes I think, oh yeah, I'm American, but I think slightly differently because of the way that my parents thought and the types of fears that they instilled in me to have. So learning to let go of some and learning to keep the others, I feel like, is a thing that I still have to figure out for myself.
Right. I don't even clean the house the same way that regular.
How would you say that?
I don't even do that. Like even trying to like mop a kitchen, I have to get on my
Swiffers, y'all.
I don't use Swiffers and stuff. Like, you know how many people use Swiffers? Like,
what's the brand? What's the weird yellow stuff? Like, people use Ajax, but we use that yellow stuff.
I don't know. It's called yellow stuff. That's what it's
basically
called.
Yellow stuff. Yeah.
No,
and it's like sold nowhere else but Family Dollar.
You lay a cloth down and you wipe down the kitchen floor. That's how you do it. Or you use a regular mop. Like, you don't use this Swiffer stuff. Like, it doesn't make sense. You wash dishes.
You don't use a dishwasher, so all the crust and the filth can stay in.
That's pretty much it. To me, it's like what's the point in using a dishwasher if you have a perfectly good sink next to it? It's almost like it's feeding into my procrastination. I'm a big procrastinator, and I feel like if I'm using the dishwasher, it's telling me, I can just,
and it doesn't wash dishes.
Just load it, and it doesn't actually wash it.
I'm eating the same I have a theory, though,
from the dinner from the night before.
Yeah,
on this plate.
But you want to know why? Because I feel like American food is, when you put it on the plate,
this is your theory.
It's bread.
This is your theory?
It's fries. This is my theory. I'm sure it's probably your theory too. It's bread. It's like pasta with like not a very thick sauce. Yeah. And then you clean it up. You send all your little tykes to bed, and then you put them in the dishwasher. This is set in the 50s. Yeah. Your husband is tired from work, and you're spending all day cleaning everything. And this is the 50s. at least for I guess the general white family. But it's like but for Haitian food, and I feel like a lot of foreign food, it's like rice and heavy oils and I almost said sauce pas, like bean sauce and like chicken, and all those sauces are just all over the plate. So by the time you've cleaned it up and you put it in the dishwasher, it's already a part of the plate. So you got it's already Haitian food seeps into the plate. You can't just
it said, "I'm not going nowhere tonight."
Yeah, we're not talking about your regular ketchup. Because like, we're talking about heavy oils.
You got all types of spices rolling
heavy
in there.
Spices.
Yeah.
So it's like, I feel like it's not something you can just pop into the dishwasher. And
you're going to have to scrub that thing, man.
All the plates, if we put it in the dishwasher, it would come out with more sauce on it. It would somehow produce more sauce.
And it'll smell just as good as the food that it was on it prior.
It's like the dishwasher smells like some plantains
some
right
plantains
now.
And
some
rice.
pork, some fried pork right now. It's actually quite delicious, but it should smell like soap.
It should smell like soap.
We put like double the soap that the average Americans have with their ketchup and burgers.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
But I feel like maybe our plates are just dirtier. But I mean, other than that, it's just like when they were kids, they didn't have dishwashers.
Nobody had dishwashers.
They freaking had. They had whatever
paint.
That's
what they call it. It's called a cuvette.
A bowl, but
it's not a bowl. It's called a cuvette. That's what
yes, but the translation. What's the translation?
It's a big
bowl.
No, you know, right?
You just got served.
Right. There's a lot of words I do not know in English.
I mean, maybe it's another thing. Maybe the translation would be better geared towards container.
I forgot what it is, but
this is good podcast content. Trying to figure out what the translation is.
All foreigners out there that are coming from like an African, Caribbean country, I'm pretty sure you guys are gonna know what it is.
Yeah, just
like
a giant bowl.
You wash all your clothes and your dishes and things. You fill up the cuvette with water and
put some soap in there, and then you just sort of
and you really
scrub. You
scrub
really
the life like your life depended on it.
Yeah,
and
like you're strangling it,
nice and clean, and then you you hang it on the clothesline. You leave it out in the sun, like, and it dries all nice.
Like I've seen Mom wring some clothes and be like, "That's very violent." Like if that was a person, you'd break that person's neck. Like Mom is strong. Like I can't open a pickle jar and then I'll be like, I'll hand it to Mom.
That's what being an American
It'll be
is.
as if it was already open.
And
like
that's what being an American is. The fact that you can't open a pickle jar, but
I
you
sure
got a
can't.
mom who has hands.
They seal those
she's
things
twice
twice.
as old than you.
Twice.
and she literally can wring clothing.
Not only that, her hands are indestructible.
With the strength of a freaking ox.
Her hands are indestructible too, because I have one time she was washing dishes. Actually, this happened several times. She's washing dishes and then she moves away, and so I just take the opportunity to clean my little dishes, and the water is boiling hot. And I'm looking at my mom like she just came from the Xavier School of Mutants. Like, what are you? Are you an X-Men? Like, what's happening? Like, it's boiling hot. And she was like, doodly doodly doo. She's just washing the dishes under, and you can see the steam. But I see the steam, but I'm like, I can handle it. It's just steam. It's probably a little hot. And I put my hands under it, and I come out, and my hands are on fire. My hands are literally on fire. And I'm just like, well, I guess, Mom, can you clean the dishes? Because the water is set to freaking volcanic eruption. Like it's literally blue, red volcanic eruption on the water controls of every Haitian household, and all the moms set it to volcanic eruption so the kids can't clean their own dishes.
They have to make sure it's clean. It has to be not only
but
washed with
at one point you're just gonna melt the plate.
They're
trying to melt the plates.
They're sanitizing the items that they're washing.
I feel like in Haiti, I've never seen Mom and Dad clean dishes in Haiti, but I just assume that they just put it over a fire. At the level of heat that's emanating from that water.
Man, life is rough.
It was, Brett. Her hands are indestructible and they're strong, and she has like small hands, and it's like, how are you doing these things? And She'll lift things. And another thing that always amazes me is the way Dad cuts coconuts. His thumb, the space between his thumb and the machete that is being struck down onto the coconut at superhuman speeds is probably like a centimeter. So I'm like, you really want to play with your fingers right now? But he does it like he'll be listening to freaking Haitian politics and not even looking at his fingers,
and just chopping.
And as he's chopping,
breaking up a coconut.
We're not even chopping. He's like you know what I mean. He's like carving it to get to the white so that he can crack it open and stuff.
Oh my god, that's
and I'm like,
a
that's
Haitian thing
dangerous, bruh.
Nah,
we're the only person in that neighborhood that has a machete.
The last time I went for our cousin's wedding, back home,
I have another
and
good
mom
one.
and mom was literally like walking around with a machete in the backyard, and I just thought to myself, like, where am I? Like, am I in Port-au-Prince right now? Like, why is she walking
she
around?
looks like the butcher of New Orleans or something. Who has never caught or found or
this
seen?
machete is
still,
mad big,
like a serial killer just stalking.
You don't see people walking around that like normally here in
She's
America,
swinging it
unless you're Haitian. Like, oh my god. I was like, oh god. Yeah, that was kind of crazy. But I mean, I love it. Like, the fact that they are who they are and they raised us the way they raised us.
Right.
Like, I'm just grateful for all the knowledge that I got from them, because I learned how to cook for myself because of them. I learned how to it shaped the way I think about myself in a positive light.
Right.
I'm very prideful,
right,
when it comes to like my culture, prideful in who I am, and I am so grateful for them for that, because to be honest, I don't think I would be the person that I am if I wasn't raised as a Haitian.
Right.
You know, like it just,
we'd probably be terrible people. I mean, probably not. I mean, it's insane. You can't think of any other life.
Yeah, exactly.
Because like, who would we be?
Like,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean, if we were like fourth generation and like our family has been in America for like, I don't
be disconnected. We
really would
have that other culture that we're leaning on. But no,
it's hard to imagine.
Me being the firstborn, I definitely got that culture. Like, mom, dad, like, I know.
You know the best Creole.
Yeah.
I feel like
I'm not perfect at it, but I know enough.
I think I would consider you fluent, but I am not fluent.
I act like, you know, I feel like I take their mannerisms.
Right.
I think the way they do sometimes, it's kind of scary, you know. But at the same time, I'm like, I'm the firstborn, so like they weren't Americanized when I was
technically when you think about it, you've had more time with them than any of us have ever had.
Definitely, and that means I'm more. Does that make me more Haitian than the rest of y'all?
I mean, it's not a competition, but yes. I feel like I'm the most. I mean, what does it mean to be Haitian? What does it mean to be American? I mean, in terms of stereotypes, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't mean much, but all I can say is.
But joke wise, yes, you are Haitian. You are more Haitian than the rest of us.
A lot of other Haitians wouldn't think.
You're into like Haitian politics and all of that stuff, and I'm just like, what Marvel movie is next?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. But I mean, before we go, I wanted to list one more thing that we.
What?
It's one of the funniest thing. If you find the fact that anytime we find a snake, a bug, we're just like, boil some water. I don't know anybody who has a solution to throw boiling water on everything that moves. Anything that we don't like, we're like, boil some water.
Wait,
so
is that strictly Haitian, or is that
I have no idea.
Thing?
Maybe it's a Caribbean thing, but if there's a snake outside the house,
boil some water.
Angie, boil some water. I'm like, I got you. and I put a pot of water on the stove, and we're literally waiting for the water to boil and looking at the snake. Looking at the water, looking at the snake. It's like, if it's a wasp, Mom's like, boil some water. Be like, I got you. I run to the kitchen and I boil some water. But the funny thing is every time Mom and Dad pour the boiling water, it never works.
It doesn't, because that's
ridiculous. It works for the wasp sometimes, but like I've seen Dad throw some boiling. Sorry, animal cruelty. PETA, don't get on our butts. But if they well, not snakes.
You talking about them lizards and snakes and stuff?
PETA cares about snakes, but like Mom or Dad will throw boiling water on the snake and I'll just go like this, but it won't do anything. Not to mention how many times Dad has literally chopped up snakes with machetes.
Oh my God.
It's ridiculous.
So
and Dad hates snakes. It's just like the way that we encounter bugs and animals. Not
like,
animals.
It sounds like the way
but
we encounter
insects,
problems,
smaller rodents, pests, things like that. It's just to throw boiling water at it.
At the end of the day, we're gonna throw boiling water or a machete. That's what
at the end of the day. I think the moral of the story and what this episode is truly about is, if we have a problem, throw boiling water at it.
And never use the dishwasher.
That's why every year I throw boiling water on my taxes. All right, everybody. Thank you for listening to the Fematlanta podcast. Any last words, Cindy?
Nah, man. You're nuts, yo.
All right. Well, we will see you next time.
Bye.
Love ya. Bye.
You can be my supermodel if you believe. You can see it in me, see it in me, see it in me. I don't see myself.
Oh my God, you're peeking!
What happened?
Do you know what peeking means?
What does that mean?
It means that you're destroying everything.